It's 3:17 a.m. on a Sunday morning. You're standing in Suite 4112 of a luxury hotel in Midtown Manhattan, holding a $400 bottle of bleach and a stack of $100 bills, looking down at a problem. The problem is wearing a $14,000 watch. The problem is unconscious. The problem will be on the cover of every magazine in America in 8 hours, unless you make this disappear in the next 40 minutes. You don't call the police. You don't wake the manager. You don't think about right and wrong. You just start cleaning. Because that's what you've done for 23 years. That's what they pay you $340,000 a year to do. And that's why a certain group of the most famous, most powerful, most beloved Americans on earth, actors, musicians, athletes, billionaires, they don't know your name, but they know your phone number. Welcome to the dark side of luxury. Level 1. The tips. Let me take you back to where this story really started. You're 27 years old, brand new doorman at a 5-star hotel near Central Park, salary $42,000 a year. You wear a uniform with brass buttons and white gloves. You smile when guests arrive. You hold doors. You hail taxis. 3 months in, a famous actor you'd recognize the name instantly, household across America, slips you a folded $100 bill on his way to dinner. You think it's a tip. It's not a tip. 2 hours later, you're escorting a 19-year-old girl up the service elevator to his suite. The girl is crying. You ask no questions. He hands you another $500 in the morning when she leaves through the basement. That's $600 for one night of looking the other way. That's more than you make in a week of legitimate work. Within 6 months, you've made $14,000 inside cash. By year 2, $58,000. By year 5, you've stopped counting. You get promoted, bell captain, then assistant concierge, then full concierge, then head concierge. Each promotion comes with 3 things: a bigger uniform, a bigger paycheck, a bigger network of secrets. By age 35, you're making $190,000 in salary, plus another $200,000 in tips. By age 40, you have a 4-bedroom house in Westchester, 2 kids in private school, and a wife who has stopped asking where the cash comes from. By age 50, which is where this story starts, you've helped cover up 412 incidents involving 87 different celebrities, athletes, executives, and politicians. Every single one of them is still walking free. Every single one of them still calls you when something goes wrong. And here's what nobody tells you about a job like this. The first cover-up is the hardest. After that, they get easy. Level 2. The small favors. Level 1 is what they call tip tier. Easy stuff. A famous actor needs a 2-year-old escort delivered to his suite at 1 a.m., and he needs her to sign an NDA before she leaves. You handle it. $2,000 cash. A Grammy-winning musician needs a particular substance delivered to his room before a 9 a.m. appearance. The substance is illegal in 50 states. You handle it. $5,000 cash. A billionaire CEO needs his very married affair to never appear on a security camera. You handle it. $10,000 cash. These aren't crimes you commit. These are crimes you erase. You learn the language. Discretion fee instead of bribe. Service adjustment instead of fixing. Personal arrangement instead of cover-up. You learn the playbook. Every 5-star hotel in Manhattan has the same playbook. So does every 4 Seasons in Beverly Hills. So does every Ritz-Carlton in Miami. So does every Mandarin Oriental, from Vegas to London. There is an underground economy operating behind every luxury hotel lobby in America. It moves an estimated $4 billion a year. Nobody studies it. Nobody investigates it. Because the people protected by it own the magazines, the studios, the law firms, and the politicians who would otherwise expose it. And here's the part that's going to make you uncomfortable. You don't feel guilty. By year 10, the moral muscle in your brain has simply stopped firing. A 17-year-old girl walks out of suite 4112 at 4 a.m. crying, and you offer her a complimentary breakfast voucher. You're not a monster. You're not evil. You're worse. You're efficient. But level 2 is just the warm-up. Level 3 is where the bodies start showing up. Level 3. The bodies. The first dead body you cleaned up was in 2009. A 4-year-old woman. Suite 3408. The guest was a married Hollywood A-lister who is to this day considered America's sweetheart and has sold out stadium tours every year since. The woman overdosed. You don't know on what. You weren't asked. What you did know is that you had 43 minutes to make her appear somewhere else before the maid arrived. You called a number on a card the head of security had given you on day 1. 2 men in suits arrived in 28 minutes. They brought a laundry cart. They were professional. They didn't speak to you. The woman left through the loading dock at 5:14 a.m. in the laundry cart. She was found 2 days later in a hotel in Newark, New Jersey. Cause of death, accidental overdose. Police filed the case. Family was paid. Story died in 36 hours. The A-lister released a Christmas album that year that sold 4.2 million copies. You earned $80,000 cash for those 43 minutes of work. Since 2009, you have done variations of that job, quote, the cleaning, 14 more times. Different hotels, different stars, different victims. Same playbook. You don't know all the names of the people who died in those rooms. You weren't supposed to ask. You weren't supposed to remember. But here is what you do remember. Every Christmas, every single Christmas, for 15 years, you light a candle in your basement. 14 candles now. Your wife thinks it's a religious thing. It's not. It's a math problem you can't stop counting. Level 4. The truth. You're 50 years old now. You've made $4.7 million in salary and tips over 23 years. You own 3 properties. Your daughter just got into Yale. Your son is at Stanford. Your wife drives a 2026 luxury SUV. By every visible measure of the American dream, you've made it. But 3 nights a week, you wake up at 3:17 a.m. The same time you clean the first room. You sit in your basement. You look at 14 candles. You wonder if there's a number you could call a journalist, an FBI agent, a podcast host, and finally tell what you know. But you know how this works. You know what happened to the head of security at a different hotel who started talking to a reporter in 2019. You know what happened to the journalist. You know what happened to the reporter's source. You know there are men in suits who own a number on a card. And the same number that protected you protects the people you would expose. So you light the candle, you blow it out, and you go back to bed. And on Monday morning at 7 a.m., you put on the uniform. You smile when guests arrive. You hold doors. You hail taxis. And when your phone rings at 3:17 a.m., you answer it. Because that's the only thing the dark side of luxury asks of you.